Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Purposely Tasha, known as The Purpose Trainer. I am here today to talk about accountability and how being accountable to your purpose can eliminate the distractions in your life. The question that I'm going to pose for you today is what is it that justifies the actions and decisions in your life? And whatever it is that you choose that justifies the actions and decisions in your life, does it distract you from your purpose, or does it cause you to rest in your purpose? That is what we're going to be talking about today. So stay tuned. Let's jump right into it. So accountability is the condition of being required or expected to justify actions or decisions. And I'm here today to tell you that your purpose can justify every action and decision that you have in your life. The question is, will you rest in it enough that it will justify your actions and decisions? The benefit of allowing purpose to justify your actions and decisions over anything else, literally anything else, is that when purpose justifies your actions and decisions, it will eliminate distractions in your life. That is one way how you know that you are being accountable to your purpose. Do you see common distractions in your life being eliminated? Do you see that things that used to distract you in your past, the hey big head text, the smaller things, the candy bars, or the bigger things? Like for me, one thing for me that was a distraction or a trigger for me was things popping up about my mom. When I began to rest in my purpose, I saw an elimination in distractions in my life, and I began to rest more than I worried. I began to rest more than I tried to go out and do. I began to see that rest was better than busyness. So I'm going to ask you again. The thing that you chose to justify your actions and decisions, does it eliminate distractions by causing you to rest in your purpose? Or does it distract you, causing you to be any and everywhere for everything and everyone but your purpose? Listen, when you are accountable to your purpose, you will see elimination and distractions. Now, let me be clear. As a believer, your purpose is to glorify God. And the way that we as believers glorify God is we live our lives in a way that shows that God is a great weight in our life. Meaning he holds us down. Meaning we're anchored in him. Meaning what he says goes. That no matter what the culture says, no matter what's popular at the current time, what God says, that's it. It's bond. Like, what y'all be saying, what the young folks be saying, no cap. Like, what God says, no cap. No cap at all. Like none. And that's how we as believers, whose purpose is to glorify God in every facet of our life, live our life, first of all, live our life according to our purpose. Live our life accountable to our purpose. We glorify God in everything that we do. We show that he's a great weight in our life. And when we do that, it begins to eliminate distractions. And let me show you how. If you see my blog post entitled, Accountable to Who, Not You, you'll see that in there I put a little excerpt and a little Bible study about Eve in the Bible. And if you don't know, there's a part of the creation story. The serpent and Eve have a conversation in Genesis 3:1. The serpent says to her, did God really say you can't eat from any tree of the garden? Right? And he was being real sneaky. He was trying to be real funny when he said these things. Right? But he was saying it in a way that wasn't overtly disrespectful to say, like, he lied to you. but he was trying to get his way in to become a distraction for her. Now, mind you, our purpose is to glorify God. Let's see. So when Eve hollers back, she goes, "We may eat from the fruit from the trees in the garden, but about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden," God says, "you must not eat from it or touch it, or you will die." Right? She just responded to him with what God said to her. And he claps back. He goes, "No, you will not die. In fact, God knows that when you eat, your eyes will become open and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." And she responds by eating the fruit. She then saw that the tree was good for fruit and a delight to look at, and that it was desirable for obtaining wisdom. So she took some fruit and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. And let me tell you right here, if Eve was accountable to her purpose, which was to glorify God, God's word would hold a great weight in her life. And what that means is that when God made her, he said he made us in the likeness and image of God. We glorify God. First of all, one way of glorifying God is just that he created us. Like, he created us. We're made in his likeness and his image. That's everyone, believer or unbeliever. We're made in his likeness and his image. How much closer to being like God can you get on the earth than a human being made in the likeness and image of God? So if God's word would have held a great weight in her life, she would have saw that he was trying to distract her, that he was distracting her. God, him hollering, talking about some, God said that, or no, if you would eat the fruit, then you would be, God knows that if you eat the fruit, you'd be more like God. Sis should have clapped back and said, I'm made in the image and likeness of God. How much more like God can you get? And been done with the conversation. But instead, she allowed what the serpent said to her to justify her action of eating the fruit, touching the tree that God told her not to touch. And that wasn't it. She went a step further and gave that fruit to her husband. And we could talk about Adam later, but right now we're discussing Eve. And I want to know, are you like Eve in this story? Do you become easily distracted and then become the distraction because you easily allow other people's philosophies, other people's understanding of who God is, other people's words justify your actions and your decisions over what God said about you, over the purpose that he instilled in you, that he put in you, that he completed in you when he made you in his likeness and image? What do you allow to justify your actions and decisions over the word, the being, the relationship that you have with God? Is it the TV shows that you watch that begin to influence you and say, hey, you're not enough. You don't have X, Y, and Z. You don't have a man. You don't have kids. You don't have all of these things. And you allow those things to become a distraction. You eat of them, right? You eat it all up. Whatever it is, you eat it up. And you go out and you begin to buy those things. And believe that your purpose, that your life is all wound up in looking this way and having these things. When really, you're justified in being made in the image and likeness of God and believing what he says about you and who you are. Do you take the words of the TV shows, the words of the songs, the words of friends, the words of social media, and go back to your friends, your family, your loved ones, whomever, and give them that same distraction? That we're not enough. In order to be more like God, in order to be better, in order to whatever, have a bigger purpose, whatever it is, we have to do X, Y, and Z. What is it that justifies your actions and decisions? What is it that causes you to be distracted? Because as you begin to learn how to rest in your purpose, you will see that there's nothing in this world, there's nothing that you can eat, buy, watch, have, that will get you closer to God than truly resting, truly believing in what he says about you. And letting that define, letting that push you, letting that move you. There's nothing more than you can do to abide in your purpose than rest in what God says about you. Outside of that, you will be running rampant, tired, weary, angry, unfulfilled. So I challenge you today to ask yourself, what causes me to move? And as I always tell my clients, rest in your accountability to your purpose. Rest stands for reverence, endurance, surrender, and test. So this is what I challenge you to do. Reverence your accountability to your purpose. Observe it, right? Let God know, God, I believe everything you say about me. Lord, anchor me in your word. Lord, find the places in me that I have become distracted. And search me, Lord, for those things that I have called to justify my actions and decisions other than you, that I have become accountable to other than glorifying you. I'm not accountable to anything of these things, and Lord, I denounce them. That's how you reverence it. You reverence your accountability to your purpose. You reverence that, God, you're the one that justifies my actions and my decisions. Not what society says. Not what anything else says. That's what you're going to endure. Once you reverence God, reverence your purpose, reverence glorifying God through your purpose, once you reverence being accountable to your purpose, once you reverence letting your purpose justify your actions and endurance, now it's time to endure. Sit back, okay, and wade, push through, walk through the toughness of the emotions that come with making that shift and resting. Can be work, and resting and being accountable only to glorifying God. Resting and being accountable to being made in the image and likeness of God. What does that mean? Endure the wrestling of it. Eve only gave one response to that, to the serpent, to the distraction. I challenge you, as you endure, to volley with it, to go back and forth with it, to wrestle with any and everything that is causing you to move, that is causing you to justify your actions and decisions other than glorifying God. Okay, next is S, surrender. Once you figure it out, the things that are causing you to move, once those things are revealed through your reverence to God and being accountable to your purpose and your endurance in wading through the emotion of transitioning to resting in your purpose, and being accountable to your purpose, and those things, you begin to see those things popping up like, dang, that's what causes me to move. I want you to surrender them. God, I surrender my need to be accepted to you. God, I surrender my rejection from X, Y, and Z to you. God, I surrender my inability to X, Y, and Z. Whatever it is, I want you to surrender that thing. Next, I want you to be ready for the testing. I want you to be ready for those things to come back. Okay? It's time to test and train. I want you to be ready for those things that you surrendered to come back around. And when they come back around, it's time for you to say, you do not justify me. You do not decide where I go, when I move, or how I move. I am moved by only one thing and one thing only. I am accountable to one thing and one thing only, and that is glorifying God. It may not be popular. It may not be fun, but I promise you, sis, it's going to be worth it. Allow yourself to be tested. Go back in his word and read about how Jesus was accountable for his purpose. When Jesus' parents were looking for him, they didn't know where that man was. They found him in the temple. He said, "Mom, what's up? Don't you know about my father's business? I'm accountable to glorify God, Mom. That's what justifies me being here in the temple while you're looking for me worried. That's what justified me moving. Not, your need for me to be anywhere, not your expectations of where I'm supposed to be, but my purpose here. I came here to glorify God, Mom, and that's why I'm in the temple. Where else did you think I would be? I'm accountable to what God sent me here to do, and that's to glorify him." I hope that this video blessed you. I hope that you can take resting in your purpose, reverence, endurance, surrender, and test, and take that and apply it to figuring out what are you truly accountable to, what moves you, what justifies your actions and decisions, and begin to wrestle with it, train in it. Every time it comes up, speak about it. Find a group of people that you guys can be accountable to your purpose together. As a matter of fact, if you're looking for one, the Purpose Training community is always welcoming new women to our family. You can find that information down in the description box below. We would love to have you. I hope that you enjoyed this video once again. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.